everyone, welcome back. I'm Katie, and today I'm doing the Bible book tag. So I was tagged by my lovely friend Kelly Reads a Lot. She tagged me probably 2 months ago now, but I'm finally doing it. So I have the questions already printed out. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first question is, what is your favorite book of the Bible? So this changes depending on like what I'm going through in my life, what God is speaking to me at the time. Esther used to be a huge favorite book of the Bible growing up. Ruth came after that. And recently, I think I was really starting to like Second Peter. Is either First or Second Peter. But I still think Ruth is honestly like an absolute favorite, even more than Esther, honestly. I just really love that she left her home, she followed wherever her mother-in-law went. She, she renounced her own family, her own lifestyle, her own gods to follow the true God and go to her mother-in-law's country. And I just feel like that is such a story of bravery, a story of hope and of like blind faith to go with her mother-in-law when it was just them. I mean, they had no protection. It was just two women on the road back then, and scary situations could happen back then, even nowadays. So it's like, to just go and it's such a I really enjoy that story a lot. I think it's one of my absolute favorites. So yes, I would say that one. And it also has an amazing love story too. I mean, I have a feeling that, it doesn't say that they fell in love, but I have a feeling there was a little bit of love behind the lines there. So, all right. So the next question is, what is your favorite Bible story? So this is different than book. Let's see. Favorite Bible story. I didn't really think ahead of time for these answers, but one of my favorite Bible stories has always been Joseph. I feel like a huge connection between me and Joseph. A lot we've gone through kind of a similar path. I feel like, and somebody actually at an old church that I used to go to actually prophesied that my life was like Joseph's, and I could definitely see that. So yeah, so I'm just waiting for the ending of Joseph. I'm getting a little bit of the ending of Joseph with the blessing of you all and having fun with you guys. So, but yeah, so definitely Joseph, I feel like, is my favorite Bible story. He just went through so much, so many trials, so many heartaches, so many problems, yet he always trusted God and always came back to God. So yeah, I like that one. Okay, next question is, who is your favorite person in the Bible? I mean, obviously Jesus, but usually I say all of us should pick Jesus. But aside from him, who's my favorite Bible character? I would say the first name that popped into my head was Mary, from Mary and Martha, because I am such a Mary. I think my mom would be a Martha, because my mom has always cleaned the house before guests arrived, made sure everything was good, do a mad dash tornado cleaning. And I'm more of I'd rather just I do help, but I would rather just sit and read. Or if Jesus came to our house, I would be the one sitting at his feet and listening to his stories. That would totally be me. You guys can probably picture that too. That is so me. I would totally do that. Yeah, definitely I would be a Mary. And so that was the first character that came to my mind. She probably is one of my absolute favorite characters. I just felt such a deep connection with her. I don't honestly think that she wouldn't want to help her sister, but just that Jesus was such an important person and she knew, and she just wanted to spend time with him. And I felt like that would be me totally. I would want to spend as much time with him as I possibly could. So that's my favorite character and the reason why. Okay, so what is your favorite Bible verse? Mine is Jeremiah 29:11. That has been one of my favorite verses. I'm sure I have a ton. I just never remember them at the time. But Jeremiah 29:11 has been my life verse for years. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future. And that's just one of my favorite verses. Honestly, I haven't even looked at it in a long time, but I still remember most of the verse. So it'll always stick with me absolutely love that verse. I also love the verse after it too, but I never memorized it. But I have a feeling that I think I should memorize it. So maybe I'll do that in the near future. All right, and then let's see. What is your favorite translation and Bible that you read and own? So I mostly read my Bible either from my phone or my Kindle, just because it's easiest and I always have those two things with me. I usually read either from the ESV or the NKJV, only because, well, ESV is fairly recent, but I learned that that one's like almost like the very, very closest to the original. Even compared to the KJV, which I was like, really? Like, wow. Because KJV was honestly very hard for me growing up. It wasn't super hard, but NKJV is easier. It's pretty much the same as KJV. It just doesn't have the old English terms in it. So it's a little bit easier to read. That's why I went with that one. I also used to read NIV. I do sometimes, because I think, Jeremiah 29:11, I think, is the way I said it. I think it's NIV, and I like that version the best. I think, don't quote me. But yeah, so usually a mixture of those three translations. And then this is my favorite Bible, at least for now. All my Bibles are journaling Bibles. That's all I physically own because that's what I love to do. I love art. If you don't know, I have a Bible journaling channel here on YouTube that I actually started before this channel. So go check it out if you want to. I will put it in the description box. Can't talk. But this is my favorite Bible so far, and this is probably, honestly, most people's favorite on my channel. This is my garden Bible, which I learned how to do last year, I think, beginning of last year. But it's basically the meaning behind a Bible garden is as you grow in God's word, your Bible grows with you. So everything sticks out. Like whatever verse you journal, something is sticking out, showing the growth of reading that verse or studying that verse. So I have a bunch of fun stuff in here. And this is a regular Bible. This is not a journaling Bible. It is just a regular NKJV compact Bible in large print. And I did have it engraved with the words Garden of Love and Joy because that's what my garden represents, is verses on love and joy. And so, yeah, it's just everything sticks out. So I have like my beginning here, which has the verse, I have loved you with an everlasting love. And so this says loved down the side, and those little stickers stick out of the Bible as well. So you can see that. I have butterfly wings sticking out. This is one of my mom's favorites, is my bunnies. My bunnies are sticking out right here, if you can see. Oops, the butterfly's in the way. But this little head peeks out, and I have a page of a bunch of bunnies, and that bunny's leaping off the page. So everything in this Bible is readable. So like everything is poppable. Those butterfly wings you can read behind. Some things like this is a tippin. So if you don't know what a tippin is, these are movable pieces where they will cover up the words, but you can move it and read what's underneath. And you use washi tape for that, which I love. I've shared quite a few ways to do that. So a bunch of my pages are like that because I want to read this Bible. I do have one specifically for art, but that's because the wording is so small, I'm not going to be able to read it. Plus that sucker weighs like 8 pounds. I am not going to carry that around and read it. So I accidentally covered the words one time in that Bible, and God was like, don't worry about it. Like, just have this Bible for art. It's okay to have one Bible for art and have others for studying. So yeah, and this one's lots of fun. I love this one. I love doing the butterfly wings. There will probably be a ton of butterflies in the middle here, but yeah. So my favorite Bible, 100%, is this cute little one, and this is an easy one to bring with me. Bring a couple pieces of ephemera or pieces of cardstock to write and stuff, and you can just put it in later in your Bible. So I also do big tippins like this, where it's a complete page, but it's actually, you use double-sided tape and put it in the margin. So it adds an actual extra page. So 100% my favorite. Okay, let's see. What is your favorite hymn, chorus, song, singer, band? So to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of hymns, I have to say. Other than like, I'm picky on slow songs. I like more fast paced. So honestly, I don't really have a favorite hymn or chorus. So let's just skip over that bit because I do like a few of them. They're just not absolute favorites and I can't think of any right now. Unless you count Jesus Loves Me. That could be a chorus. Okay, so favorite song. One of my favorites is Write Your Story by Francesca Battistelli. Love that song so much. It spoke to me when I first heard it, and it's one of my absolute favorites. I mean, it almost gets me the encouragement, I feel like, to write my story while God is also writing on my heart, on my own story. So really, really, really love that song. I really love You Say by Lauren Daigle. I actually have almost the entire song uh, memorized in sign language because I really wanted to at least learn one song in sign language, and that one I have most of it memorized. So really, really love that one for that reason, and it's also such a really great song. I also love Rebel Heart by Lauren Daigle. She has a lot of great songs. But yeah, so those two definitely. As far as singers go, Lauren Daigle, definitely one of my favorites. What's his name? I also love Toby Mac. Toby Mac is one of my absolute favorites, especially like more of his like newer albums, like Eye on It and Backseat Driver. The more recent albums I really, really enjoy of his. And I also really love Jeremy Camp, especially his newer stuff too. If you listen to his older stuff and his newer stuff, you can definitely tell he really improved with his singing. And I just really love his newer stuff a lot. Like, he's one of my absolute favorites. So definitely him. Francesca Battistelli, again, really love her work as well. And as far as bands go, Skillet is okay. That's probably honestly one of the only bands I listen to. Mercy Me, I do really like Mercy Me. That's probably it as far as bands go. I can definitely tell that I'm more of a soloist fan versus like a band. Like, I know so many like solo artists, but I'm not a huge band fan. So yeah, so probably Skillet would be honestly the only one. I don't even listen to them that much. Owl City I used to really enjoy, but now they're getting more into secular music rather than Christian music. So, but yeah, I think Skillet's pretty much it as far as band, and Mercy Me. Yeah, that's about it. All right, so the next question is, what is your favorite Christian movie? So I don't really watch a lot of Christian movies, only because like I have tried a lot in the past, and I just usually end up stop watching because honestly, to be honest, the acting isn't all that great. And if the acting isn't great, I'm not going to get into the story. And so I think honestly, the only one that I really, really, really enjoyed, which was a surprise for me because it was based off a nonfiction book, but I really enjoyed The Case for Christ. I really enjoyed it. And I don't know if I'll ever read the book because I did try it, but I felt like I had more connection with a physical view of it. But it was really interesting. So if you don't know what The Case for Christ is, it's about this man who is an atheist, and he's married, and his wife ends up starting to go to church, and she becomes a Christian. Well, he is so adamant and so against it that he actually starts studying and researching and talking to experts and stuff. He wants to disprove that Jesus never died on the cross for our sins. So he goes everywhere to research it. And I'm not going to spoil anything, but obviously he could not disprove it. He went to medical experts, he went to theological experts, I think he went to priests and pastors as well. And he went everywhere searching, and he ends up becoming a Christian because of it. And it's just a really great story. Love it. Highly recommend it. So yeah, that's probably my favorite. Yeah. Okay, and then who is your favorite speaker preacher? So I'm going with the obvious here. I'm going with Jesus because honestly, who is the better preacher? Who is the better speaker on the entire planet than Jesus? Like, every single human being on the planet can fail us. The only one who can never fail us, who can never fail in his teaching, is Jesus. You know, pastors and preachers can make mistakes, even if they don't even realize it. They can make mistakes and say a verse wrong. They can make a mistake and, miss something and not even realize it. But Jesus is the only preacher that will never make a mistake in his teaching, ever. So that's what I'm going with, and that's what I'm sticking with. So yeah, I do not have a favorite speaker or preacher. because it is Jesus. He is my favorite. All right. Who is your favorite Christian fiction author and Christian nonfiction author? So I don't read a ton of nonfiction. I honestly don't. I don't know. I never really got into it, really. Like, I'm kind of tempted to try a little bit of C.S. Lewis because I feel like he is a very, very strong Christian, and I feel like, reading some of his fiction, I feel like he would be really good at nonfiction as well. But honestly, I don't think I have a favorite non-Christian author because if I have read Christian or nonfiction, I've read a very select few. So I've only read like one book by like each author. I've never read more by one author. So, well, I could put her on as my favorite nonfiction author because I have read 3 of her devotionals. Even though they were all for Genesis, there were 3 individual devotionals, and that's Misu Andrews. And I feel like her devotionals are just, I don't know, I felt really good about reading them because they had the entire book of Genesis written out in her book, which I thought was great. I thought her like personal experiences, like there was nothing that made me like extremely sad, because a lot of them I feel like they're almost too sad sometimes, and sometimes I just need a devotional that's a little bit more uplifting sometimes, and there are some that do that, and there are some that hit me hard, which I know I need, and those I really like. But the ones that just don't really have anything to do with what I'm personally going through, and they're just sad, you know what I mean? I don't know. I'm confusing myself. I'm sorry if I'm confusing you. But Misu Andrews does have some really good non-fiction devotionals. So I'm going to say her. As far as favorite Christian authors, come on. You can't expect me to say just one. I mean, there's too many favorites. I mean, Misu Andrews, again, love her fiction books. I have her entire collection. I have all of her fiction books. Jamie Jo Wright, I have all of her books. Tony Shiloh, Tracy Peterson, Pepper Basham. Who else do we got here? Becca Kinzer. I mean, she only has one book out, but seriously, I would read anything she writes. She's coming out with a new one soon. Let's see. Melanie Dickerson. Like, seriously, I mean, I can't pick a favorite. Rachel Hauck. Yeah, I cannot pick a favorite. I mean, that's like picking a favorite child, right? I mean, you can't pick a favorite child. They're all favorites. No, there's no way. But I do. I have a lot of favorite Christian fiction authors because that's what I mostly read. Gabrielle Meyer, again, another favorite. Love her. Jill Eileen Smith. I mean, those are kind of like all my favorites that I mentioned right there. I have a lot of favorites. Let's just put it that way. I mean, if you're going to ask a reader who their favorite author is, most of the time, they're probably going to have a list of like 10 to 20. That's just what happens. Okay, and then the last question is, what is your favorite Christian fiction and non-Christian fiction book? So, nonfiction, I actually left it downstairs because I'm actually still reading it. I've been reading it for like 3 years now, 4 years, but it will get done at some point. But it is called 100 Days to Dream Your Heart Out, and her first name is Katie. I can't remember her last name right now. No, I can't remember. But it is a devotional on dreaming your heart out. And I used to never read devotionals. I read a few here and there now. But I was just researching and looking up devotionals that were journaling devotionals where I could do a little bit of art in between. And God immediately pointed me to this one. He was like, read this one. Okay, I'm sorry if the angle changed, but I was running out of space on my phone and I forgot to delete some stuff in my trash can. So anyways, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, 100 Days to Dream Your Heart Out. So yes, God pointed me to it and I don't know what it was. I think it was on sale too, which was nice. But I immediately purchased it. I was like, okay, God, this is you because I would never purchase this. So I bought it and the first page that I opened to was something I was going through that day. And I was like, okay, God, this is definitely from you. And I don't open it every day. Honestly, I haven't opened it in months. But every time I've opened it, even if it's to a random page, it's almost 99.9% of the time been a scripture and what the author has put in with her experiences. It has been something that I was going through, and it speaks of encouragement. It speaks of the promises that God places on our hearts, and it's a great devotional. I love it. Highly recommend it for honestly anybody, but especially if you're kind of struggling with knowing what path God has for you, and just wondering, because there's even like stuff that says, if God's telling you to wait, be patient and stuff, and those verses, like every single time I opened it, it was something I was going through or needed that day. So definitely what God wanted me to hear on those days. So you knew I could not pick just one fiction, right? I went through my entire shelves, or most of my shelves, and picked up all the favorites. So yeah, I could not just pick out one. I'm sorry, but you knew what you were getting yourself into when talking about books. So the entire Skimar series by Paperbacks, love them. Dear Henry, Love Edith by Becca Kinzer. The Vanishing at Castle Moreau by Jamie Jo Wright. The Lost Melody by Joanna Davidson Politano. Better Watch Out by Natalie Walters. The Timeless series by Gabrielle Meyer. And there are 3 more that I know of that are going to be released, so can't wait for those. Until Leaves Fall in Paris by Sarah Sundin. Dangerous Beauty by Melissa Koslin. In Search of a Prince by Toni Shiloh. These would be like, if you ask me for recommendations, you're most likely going to get one of these. But I have other options too. There's lots of favorites. Love Amid the Ashes by Misu Andrews. Oh, if you want to try Misu Andrews, try this one. The Warsaw Sisters by Amanda Barrett. One of my absolute favorites. State of Lies by Siri Mitchell. Offsides by Lori Z. Scott, a new favorite. And A Wish Dress by Nadine Brendez. So all of these are favorites. I could not pick just one. Sorry. All right, so that's it. I honestly have no idea who's done this tag, so I'm going to just tag a few of my friends. So I am going to tag my friend Christine. I'm going to tag Jane Reeds. I'm going to tag... and I'm going to tag Chantel. So I'm going to tag you 3. If you've already done it, ignore this or tag me in the comment of your video so I can check it out if you've done it already. But yeah, so those are the answers to the Bible book tag. And it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. So let me know down below, what is your favorite, or who is your favorite Bible character? I would love to know. I would love to talk to you in the comments. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you all in the next video.